Tonight we have a very exciting tool to show you. This is the SOG Paladin PowerPlay PT540. An amazing tool right here, pretty much a tradesman's dream and something that I have been, well, not really coveting, but wanting for a very long time. And over on Multi-Tool World, the Facebook group, oh, there has been some beautiful pictures of these, and it's made me want them more and more and more. So there are several of these, and I have now two in my collection. So I've got the 510 right here, and now I've been able to pick up the PT540. So pretty excited about that as well. Now the PT540 is different because this was made by SOG for Paladin, and it is an extra large tool. So open comes in around 7.5 inches long, and then when we close it, it comes in around 5 inches long. So just take a look at this side by side. When we stand these up, the power lock is a fair amount shorter, a little bit shorter than the PowerPlay. So this is a very large tool. So again, we've got this wonderful compound leverage system. I love how the pliers work on SOG. I think they've got the market on pliers. Talk about smooth opening. They definitely do a fantastic job. And there's really no other multi-tool quite like it. The Leatherman Arc opens fairly smooth, but SOG still has this advantage with this system right here. Very, very cool. And then when we look at the pliers, there's actually at least two different variations of the PowerPlay. From what I understand, mine is actually the needle nose version, and then there is one that's needle nose, but a little bit more blunt at the end. So you can see these meet very nicely right here. Excellent tool. And then we've got not only a place for larger bolts, but then what makes this so special is there are 3 wire stripping notches as well. So this is definitely an electrician's tool set right here. And then of course we've got wire cutters at the bottom. Now, if you have wondered how can you cut wires and then how can you use this to cut other wires at the bottom, well, how that works is there is a little lever, and when you pull it out like this, it stops it so you can use the wire cutter right there. So very ingenious design right here. And then you push that back and then you can use the wire stripper. So really, really cool. So I really love how they've done that. And then this is something you don't usually see on a multi-tool as well. They actually cut out these the notches on here. And they made a 3/8 hex right here. And then they also made a 7/16 rather hex wrench on the other side. So that's a little cool. I'm not a huge fan when there's all these cutouts all down the handle, but I feel like since they reinforced it, it does add perhaps a little bit more function in a pinch. I still feel like a lot of times the handles will be so wide that you've got to have a bolt in the middle, a wide open space, not near anything to be able to use this, but it is still cool that that's an extra function. Then obviously it talks about the PT right here, a very big branding right here on the side, giant locks. Again, a giant tool set right here. And the inner tools, again, this will be very reminiscent of the power lock. We've got these wings or whatever you call it that fold out right here, these handles. And then we have right here on this side a 3-sided file. And then I suppose a large screwdriver here at the end. So that's pretty cool. And then we have this tool right here, which this is labeled as the wire hook. And then I think it's called something like the spongin. I'm sure I'm butchering that. But anyway, I don't use that in my line of work, HVAC, so I'm not very familiar with the term, but I looked it up and it's to separate, I think, like connections. So it's supposed to be both of those in this tool, I think. And then we do have this screwdriver. And then for those of you who have to have a bottle cap lifter, even an electrician tool, we've got a bottle cap lifter. So you're covered. We've got the Phillips screwdriver. And then we do have what's very unique, a drywall saw. So not only the drywall saw, but there is the drywall punch here on the end. They label that the punch. so that you can use that. And I think that actually would be pretty handy for a lot of electricians to use. So pretty neat. I do think Cobalt maybe in Lowe's, there's perhaps a tool that had a drywall saw or a painter's multi-tool, but you don't usually see those drywall saws. And then we do have a combo edge blade right here, a large one. And then I did miss the punch down tool on this side over here. Not only do we have the saw, the Phillips, the screwdrivers, but we do have this punch down tool. And this is the 66. And then you also do have some of the lug crimpers as well, the terminal lug crimpers right here. And then I believe on this one right here. And then we do have the punch down tool right here, the 110 as well. So these I think could be extremely useful. Again, I'm not an electrician. I'm not really in data or any of that electrical work, but for the right people, I'm sure that could be very handy. And then we have this tool right here, which is sort of unique because SOG does have this, but this is an earlier generation. And what we have right here is, let's see, I think I put on the wrong way. There we go. This is the pouch, the leather pouch that comes with it. And what it has right here is it has a storage place at the bottom for this to fit into. And then you can use this as a 1/4-inch bit driver or, nut driver right there. So pretty cool right there. But this seems to be an earlier system where SOG changed it to this bit kit, but it seems to be a forerunner of that. And then we do have the scissors. Now, a lot of people are not a fan of SOG scissors, and I think they're okay. I don't think they're quite as good as even some of the Chinese versions that are on the market right now, but I think they're all right, and they do, I can use them in a pinch. So there they are. So let's go ahead and collapse this right here. So again, very excited to have this tool. Very unique set of capabilities right here. Now, one of the things I did want to mention is over on Multi-Tool World, again, our friends over there, the administrator was talking about how on his and on several others that you have to be careful because the spring is sort of a breaking point on the tool. And again, if you break this tool, good luck trying to find another one. These are about $400 on eBay, sometimes more, sometimes less. Obviously, I paid less for this one, but it was still pricey. And so it does make me a little nervous since he said that about using this tool. So keep that in mind. And again, a big thanks to those at Multi-Tool World for all their knowledge and sharing that. And I'll try to put a link to their Facebook group below as well. So imagine my surprise when I actually opened up the new packaging. Again, this came sealed in this packaging, and I only saw this outside, and I assume this was all the information. So one of the things that it talks about is it does talk about this punch down tool and how to use it. It does talk about how it does have a wire stripper. I think it's here at the bottom for stripping UTP cable. Then it talks about cutting and stripping Romex here at the top. It talks about crimping lugs and terminals, and then also stripping 16 to 10 gauge wire. Now imagine my surprise when I open this up and it does actually have a full diagram, which is very rare. I could not find this online. And what it talks about is on the end that this is actually a drywall punch. I don't know if most people would consider their plier head a drywall punch, but that's very interesting to call it that. And then it talks about 24 and 25, not only strippers, but it does talk about the crimper here on the end. And that is one thing I did notice, this crimper right here. Let's open the pliers. There we go. So not only does it have a large crimper at the bottom, but a little bit smaller crimper at the top. So it does have that on the pliers as well. And then of course the wire strippers right here on the pliers. Number 4, it talks about the hard wire cutter as well. Then again, 23 is these lug crimpers right here at the bottom. 22 is the strippers right here that we talked about, the wire strippers. And then number 6 is the stop block. We already talked about that as well. So let's just go down this list. So we've got the drywall punch, the pliers, we've got the wire cutters, the pivoting handle cutters, the stop block that talks about the knife, the scissors, and the PDT blade with strippers, the punch down tool. We've got the socket drive, we've got the power locks, we've got the nut drivers, we've got, again, another punch down tool. We've got the Phillips screwdriver, slot screwdriver, bottle cap opener hook. We've got this tool right here. We've got the drywall saw, 3-in-1 file screwdriver, and this, the wire stripper, crimper, another stripper, and crimper. So that is the tools right here. And then this right here is the diagram, which I find fairly interesting. And then on the other side, if you can speak in another language, you will understand this as well. So very unique, and very happy to have this right here, because for a huge fan of this tool, this is really interesting information actually. All right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this video.